right, good afternoon, everyone. This is John. It's 4:30. Crazy week. This morning, we had some crazy action. The S&P started off extremely strong. You had some news that Warren Buffett was investing, in Bank of America. The financials spiked up, Goldman Sachs, Bank of America, et cetera, et cetera. And then they just had a bloodbath all day long. The market sold off. Apple gapped down on news of Steve Jobs. You had gold and silver going insane. And so let's recap where we are. And not surprisingly, at the end of the day, we are at technical key levels. So let's do this first. Let's look at the daily chart here. Now, the reason I haven't been looking at the reversion bands or paying a lot of attention to them is because, remember, reversion bands you don't use during squeezes, and we have a weekly squeeze, okay? And we've had that first amount of momentum, and so now the squeezes, the reversion bands aren't as important. One thing, though, is that we are at least trading in a range here, and once the squeeze fires off, you get all this volatility. But then once you start kind of trading in a range, they start actually becoming semi-important again. But until that weekly squeeze kind of unwinds itself, these are going to be it's not as much of a trading vehicle as when we're just sitting here, going chop chop chop. But you can see it is respecting the reversion to the mean, and we've reverted to the mean. We punched up through it and came back down. So what this is really telling me is that the markets, in lieu of making any decisions here, we're just kind of coming back to a logical area of resistance, waiting for the Bernanke comments. Okay, so that's what's going on in the S&Ps. Where do we go after Bernanke? We come back here and take a look at the weekly chart on a couple of these key markets. S&Ps, we still have this massive momentum headed to the downside, but we could still rally all the way back to 1240, and it does not change anything. Okay, so we could get some massive 90-point rally, and it does not change anything. Okay, so we could still rally back up to the mean here, and that's where this gets a little tricky. Taking a look at the dollar index, on the weekly, we still have this massive squeeze setting up. The momentum still going higher here, still edging up higher, but of course, we haven't done anything. And then, if we look at soybeans, we got a weekly squeeze there. I really, really like the squeeze. I love this bull flag here, looking to see if we can kind of edge our way up back to the top of this. And of course, when it fires off, and then these bands become obsolete, and then you just kind of let it do its thing. All right. So in sum, kind of a hurry up and wait kind of a week, and then we'll just kind of go from there. All right. So two quick reminders. All right, so we have two events coming up. One is coming up next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and Hubert and I talked about this, I think it was 2 days ago. And Rob's going to be doing a free webinar, just kind of showcasing live for 3 solid days all the changes that he's made in his room in a live trading environment, focusing on the smaller lot trader. And it's something where, for those of you that either focus on small lots or want to see anything that he's done differently, it's a chance to come and look and say, you know what? I actually like the direction that Rob is taking here. Let's try this out. Or it's like, it's not for me. But the point is, you get to see him for 3 days free and judge for yourself. I think last time I said that this started at 8:15 East Coast time, which of course it's actually going to be 9 o'clock East Coast time, which is 8 o'clock Central time. Okay, and so you want to remember about that. But remember, it is 3 days free. It does give you a chance to kind of evaluate all the cool changes that he's made and decide for yourself if it's something that you'd want to be in for longer than 3 days. But again, the big thing is that for 3 days you get a chance to kind of evaluate and say, okay, this looks good. I'll kind of take a look at this kind of like how John does it as an alert service, or maybe as something to follow us more closely, or it's not for me. But you get the chance to evaluate. And just sign up here, and you'll get access for that. And I'll be hanging out on that as well, and looking forward to it. And then the other one here, and this is tomorrow, and I'm really excited about this. And you guys heard Phil last night on the webinar as we were doing this. And a little background on him: he grew up in Australia, retired in 1999, has a lot of experience with business, real estate, things like that, and ever since then has been focusing on the Gann analysis of real estate cycles and stock market cycles and things like that. And it's actually kind of longer term, intermediate term to longer term, but he's also going to kind of show exactly how his work works using time. And we're going to take a look at some of the markets that are setting up right now to look at the intermediate tops and bottoms that are heading our way. And I found this stuff to be incredibly valuable. You guys hear me talk about some cycles and things like that in my newsletters, and this is part of what it is. And it's not something that I profess to be an expert at by any means. I look to other people who are experts to tell me what it is so I can use their insights, and this stuff to me has been priceless for figuring out the bigger picture of what's going on. Timing, whether it's purchases, bigger picture kind of purchases in real estate and things like that, or just trying to figure out a strategy over the next several months. Is the market, the market action is going to be bullish or bearish? Where should I be focusing? And it really puts things in perspective that way, because it's so easy to get caught up in the day-to-day. You lose sight of the fact of some of these bigger term projections and the cycles and things like that. And that's what really helps me. And I think it's great because he's going to sit down with us for from 9 o'clock Central to about 4 and talk about what he's doing. And he loves answering questions, and we'll go through and answer any questions that you guys have. And then I'll also be there showing some charts and kind of showing you how I use it as well. All right. So looking forward to that. That'll start tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. And it will be, if you cannot attend it, it will be recorded. So you can still get it, and then you'll get the DVD in the mail at no extra charge. All right. Recorded. So looking forward to that. See you guys in the morning for this. You guys have a great night, and we'll see you at the next update.